How's it going, guys? So I decided, I know I left my Wrestlemania review saying that I'm gonna just stick to doing probably pay-per-view reviews and go back to actually talking about things that I like on this channel. Movie, games. I've got a lot planned. I've started taking some notes on some great ideas for some other videos and some other great content on here. And so you can all look forward to that. But I decided I'm going to do one last SmackDown review because I want to just demonstrate that this show is not worth watching. This show is a waste of time. So is Raw. So are the pay-per-views. But I figured, you know what? Still my own curiosity and just, to give back to the subscribers because I know you love WWE content. But we'll see how long that even lasts. Okay? Remember, I'm human. I'm not a machine that could just sit there and watch these things and just be expected to be able to keep my sanity during those shows. But this is an example. Raw, and I saw a little bit of Raw, of course, like I always do. Selected some, things that interested me. And then I watched SmackDown. And these had to be the most hideous, perfect examples of how not to do a follow-up to WrestleMania. WrestleMania was not bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was decent. Well, I don't know how the hell people are saying night one was better. I don't know what you guys were looking at. Night one, besides the cage match, which was decent at best, and the Lashley and Drew McIntyre, which to me was good, but it felt really flat for a Mania match. And everything else was pretty much garbage. Night two, besides the Fiend Orton match, everything else was pretty decent to say the least. I don't know how people are saying they enjoyed the Cesaro Seth Rollins thing, and we're going to be talking plenty about Cesaro right here in this video. But let's get a little bit into some of the news, right? Because we got to talk about some of this news and all the different releases that happen. Obviously, people are going to ask me, what do I think about Samoa Joe? I was talking about this in the Wrestling Juggernauts group, Jerry's group, also subscribe to Jerry, of course. And here's the thing about these releases and Samoa Joe. People were saying Samoa Joe is a great commentator. I don't know. These people must have cotton stuffed into their, ears. I don't know what they were hearing. Joe was always one of my least favorite people on the roster. Maybe just a hair above Seth Rollins. Samoa Joe, I said it time and time again. Scott Steiner said it best. He's fat. He said it time and time again. And was he right about it? He absolutely was. Samoa Joe, even in the world title picture, could not be bothered to get in shape. He wore the same pair of tights for how many years? Those stupid black and red trunks that looked, they were goofy and they were baggy. This guy, he looks like shit. I don't know how anybody says that this guy was a legit contender, a legit looking wrestler. To me, this guy was the only Samoan in wrestling that's not part of the Rock Roman Reigns family. So right off the bat, you just don't even care about this guy. I never understood it ever. Even people praising him in TNA and people were talking about even his matches with Kurt Angle and everything. I never liked this guy ever. I never had a positive word to say about him. I was always bored with him. His character, one-dimensional, the tough guy, always talking like a robot and saying, Joe is going to kill you, playing off what the fans always did talk about. And I never thought of this guy as a killer. He always looked like a big goof to me, and he didn't just look like it. He was a big goof. And as a commentator, I don't know why they thought that this guy was going to be good. He's injury prone. That's not his fault. It's not like the guy really works an unsafe style or anything like that, but I just never liked him. If you like him, hey, like everything else, it's fine. You know, you like Seth Rollins, go ahead, enjoy the hell out of him. I don't care. I don't like the guy. Never did. Bo Dallas, they hadn't used the guy in a long time. It's pretty clear that, you know, he never got to the point that his father or his brother, Bray Wyatt, ever did. And if you think that, you know, they're going to keep a guy like this when his brother is an absolute genius and one of the best that they have, and they can't even figure out how to use that guy properly, how are you going to think that they're going to hold on to this guy? They fired Chelsea Green over in NXT, which, okay, you know, I don't really care about that. It's not like she was really going places anyway. To me, the biggest shock here was Billie Kay. I shouldn't say really shock, but disappointment. This girl had star written all over her, but you could really tell they had no idea what to do with this girl. And I gotta say, it's really interesting that these are people like Samoa Joe commentated all through WrestleMania. Billie Kay performed at Mania, and they're gone like the next night. To me, that is like probably the craziest thing I've ever heard. I mean, we saw people getting released last year, like around the same time, maybe about a few weeks after Mania. And you weren't surprised by those ones because none of those people competed at Mania. I mean, you could talk about, you know, the Good Brothers. They were involved in the Undertaker cinematic match, the Boneyard match, but they were kind of just in there as extras, really. So you can't really say that it was that big of a surprise, but I mean, you're talking about a guy who commentated the whole way through. But anyway, back to Billie Kay. She had star written all over her. This girl was gorgeous. She had such a personality, the charm, the facial expressions. She had this goofy character that you know that she created, but they had no idea where to go with it beyond the resumes. You know, they had magic there with Jillian Hall, and I saw a connection there. I was like, she's kind of like the modern day Jillian Hall. But I think they took Jillian Hall even a little bit further than Billie Kay. I mean, I know she never really stepped outside of the bad singer gimmick, but she didn't kind of really need to. That was working for a while, and it was over for the most part. You know, but they played off different things with Jillian. And, you know, Billie Kay, they kind of had a little bit more where they could have branched out with her. I mean, this was a charismatic girl. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying like put a women's title on her or something like that. I don't care. You know, what I'm concerned about is not who wears the titles, but who's entertaining me on my TV. As far as I'm concerned, she's 10 times more entertaining than Sasha Banks, 20 times more entertaining than Bianca Belair and her promo tonight. We wear gold in this household. Don't even get me started. We're going to talk about that in, you know, just a few minutes. But Billie Kay was a big, giant shock to me. I really don't understand, like, how even this, like, the goofiness and everything, but it was a good kind of goofiness. I think it was a huge, major waste, and, you know, it's sad to see her go. You know, but some of these releases, like, they don't really bother me too much. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, they were misused and everything like that. Like, seriously, like, you kind of saw with Samoa Joe, you know, the commentary was complete shit from that guy. He looked like shit. So it's kind of fitting. You know, first of all, when the guy's promos are so one-dimensional, why would you put him on commentary? I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. You're just asking for a bad performance there. I mean, I guess he could have been worse. I guess you could say the commentary tried to sort of give him a personality. It failed, but whatever. So to me, the biggest loss was Billie Kay, and, you know, they fired her friend over there, Peyton Royce, as well. But, you know, I saw some people saying that Peyton Royce was the better of the two. I don't know what the hell they were watching. They were keeping Peyton Royce off TV and they were putting Billie Kay on TV. What does that tell you? I don't know where people were seeing that she was so much of a better wrestler. I mean, she looked like a complete goofball. Her mom coming to her defense on Twitter, such a bad look, so cringy. Billie Kay was at least a credible, creative person that just didn't have the proper platform to branch out. And it's just like Bray Wyatt. Just like Bray Wyatt, basically. Anyway, let's talk about what happened on Raw. A very, very lousy Raw. You have a bad match between The Fiend and Randy Orton. It's a shit-ass match. It's absolutely terrible. It's got the most bogus finish of all time. Liquid pouring out of Alexa Bliss, for no discernible reason. Randy Orton just with a straight, clean finish on The Fiend. Bury The Fiend. The Fiend staring at Alexa like a goof, not doing anything. That's your opening match at Mania. Night 2, at least. Boring, bad, sad. It did not make me glad. Like what I'm saying here? You can rhyme all you want, but it's just terrible. So what do we do the following night? Are we going to get an explanation of what happened? Are we going to get something that, is like solid here? Are we going to get some answers? No, we're not. And did I not call that in the Mania review? Go look at Night 2. Look at that Night 2 review that I did. Did I not say that maybe I'd cut some slack if I knew that they weren't going to go on Raw and fuck up the story and not have an explanation for that terrible finish? And sure enough, they didn't have an explanation for that terrible finish. Alexa and The Fiend don't even talk about each other. They don't. How is this even possible? How is this even a thing? How do these writers not care? And you could even say, well, okay, maybe, Vince he changes everything, and be that as it may, whoever's fault it is, I don't care anymore. There is no way that this is the best you can do. Well, I'm Captain Obvious right there, right? But I mean, honestly, you're fucking supposed to watch this show and be like, okay, like, I don't understand it. And I see, like, on YouTube comments, people think this stuff is good. Like, there's legitimately people out there that actually watched this episode of Raw and they enjoyed every single minute of these promos. We've got Alexa Bliss introducing a doll that looks like The Fiend and herself. I mean, we got a new doll. I mean, great. Bray is back in the Firefly Funhouse. All the puppets are alive again after Randy Orton destroyed the whole set and all that. Everything is all fine and dandy. And now Bray Wyatt, the Bray Wyatt character, we have to stress that. He did not appear as The Fiend. He's back. Forget about being burnt and all that and everything and coming back to life. And, maybe this character is going to be all satanic and stuff and he's going to be really scary. No, going to go back to Bray Wyatt again. Back to the Firefly Funhouse. And this is a new beginning, guys. And it was like super awkward. You could tell like Bray didn't know where to go with this because there really wasn't a core message here. There was no point to it. It was just there just to be there so they could get Bray on the show. This was absolutely just fucking pathetic. Like a total reset for the character with no mention of what happened the previous night. Randy Orton is just completely done. He's done. I mean, I know I understand you have to end the storyline somewhere because it went on for way too long. There was too much stuff that was uninteresting going on. They couldn't have done this any worse if they tried. So, good thing it's over, right? But, you sort of have to have some sort of bridge here. I mean, you can't just sink the ship and then just keep moving on. I mean, you've got Alexa with the doll that looks like The Fiend. And there's like no connection here between these two. This is absolutely terrible. I can't stress it enough. I mean, this was the worst follow-up you could have ever asked for. Anyway, let's go on to SmackDown and talk about bad follow-ups. We start off with Roman Reigns in the ring. And before we even get started here, both Edge and Daniel Bryan are not on the show. They're nowhere to be found. So the follow-up is terrible. And Daniel Bryan and Edge did not take a worse beating than Roman Reigns did. So I guess the story here is Roman's like way stronger than these guys. Okay, I get it, but like no promos, no nothing at all. No backstage, nothing with these guys. They're just not there. Like after Mania, no Edge, no Bryan, no nothing. Edge is not pissed. He should be going psycho. He should be tearing up the locker room. He's just not there. You know who is there, though? Cesaro comes out. So, we've got the typical Roman. They acknowledge me. All right, standard stuff. Like I said, I can't even begin to tell you week after week. That's the reason why we're not reviewing SmackDown. Again, the same thing. Acknowledge me. Acknowledge, like the same promo we've been hearing for months on end. There's no growth. There's no nothing. The characters don't grow. This is the same thing we talked about with Billie Kay. You saw less of her, so it felt a little fresher, but still, the same concept. Characters don't grow. There's interesting characters, but they don't grow. And the Roman Reigns thing is, there's a lot of it, and it's not good because it's the same thing repeated over and over. So we've got Cesaro coming to the ring. We've got a face-to-face. He picks up the mic, but Roman Reigns just leaves. And you know why they did that? To save us from a terrible Cesaro promo. That is exactly why they did that. They wanted to give Cesaro an out because they couldn't think of, and they know that Cesaro's not capable of cutting an interesting promo. So they didn't even bother with that. But here we are. This is obviously your contender. Edge is not there, right? Daniel Bryan is not there. So we've got Cesaro. And we've got like a weird thing going on at the end of the show, which we'll talk about. So we've got Cesaro showing up backstage. Adam Pearce has got glasses on, which, this is amazing. I didn't think you can make this guy look any blander if you tried. Put a pair of glasses on him. These three people right here, you got Sonya Deville, Cesaro, and Adam Pearce. These are the blandest people I have ever seen, like in a segment, I think. Like where all participants on my screen are just absolutely bland, boring, and you want to like be able to put yourself to sleep. You should probably play this clip on YouTube like on a loop. And trust me, it'll get you to sleep out of pure boredom. And this was also very awkward. He wants Roman Reigns in a match. So Sonya Deville says she'll ask Roman and see if he's up to it. And she has this big, goofy smile on her face. She can't act. None of these people can act. They're boring. And it was like Cesaro says, okay. And he walks away. Like, what was going on here? Like, you've got a whole bunch of people here that can't talk. They have no business being there. Adam Pearce is, I won't say that he's bad, but he's boring. And they're all, like, so it's either you're bad or you're boring. And here you just had the worst of both worlds, we'll say. So that was awkward as hell. So we move on to Rey Mysterio defeating Otis. I gotta say, I really do like Otis in the heel role. He seems to really get it with the facials. Rey gets a win with a crucifix. Okay, whatever. Paul Heyman's backstage. Everything is all jiggling here. We got Heyman. Seems like he grows an extra chin every week. The guy just looks in really, really, really terrible health. I mean, my God. This guy is like enormous now. I watch him like back when he was like the SmackDown GM, even though like the guy was okay, he wasn't a great Adonis in physical condition, but You know, at least he looked halfway decent. But my God, this guy looks like a fucking whale now. And, you know, he says, oh, we're going to give... He goes through this whole spiel. I am so sick and tired of the over-the-top Heyman spiel. And I've talked about this also for years. I've said it time and time again about Heyman. How he just does the same thing and over-the-top. And it's like, oh, get to the fucking point. He's not going to give the people what they want. So I don't get this. The authority figures don't have any power. They can't force Roman into a match. Like, they can't force wrestlers into matches anymore, like they used to back in the day. Did Eric Bischoff be like, oh, you don't want to be in a match? Oh, no. You know, did Teddy Long, did Vince McMahon, did Shane McMahon, did any of those people do that? No, all of a sudden, you don't want to be in a match? Okay, you don't have to be in one. So Heyman makes the matches now. He makes a match against Jey Uso. And for some reason, Cesaro has to listen to him. He has to wrestle Jey Uso because Heyman, who's not an authority figure, says so. Like, so if we're back to, like, the wrestlers making their own matches, and in this case, the managers making the matches, why do we even have Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville on this show? They're completely pointless. And they're bad. So they're better off not even having them. You know, it looks stupid with everybody just making their own matches. I get it, but like, if we could save some time and I have to listen to the dronings of Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, then I don't know. I'd say just forget about it. You know, it's already bad. It's even worse. So this is what I'm saying. You can't win on a show like this. Because even when they should do something, they have to do it in the worst way possible. And they have to get the two absolute worst authority figures. I don't get it. You know, I'm sympathetic to Sonya Deville and what happened to her. But, like, why are they giving her this position? For what reason? When anyone else could be in this position? Like, anyone else. Someone who could talk, just somebody. Like, instead of getting, like, Pat McAfee on commentary, I don't know, give him this position instead. Because I'm listening to the guy on commentary, and I hear people singing his praises, but I was not thrilled. I get it's his first night on commentary, but, like, I don't know, like, everything about the guy was, like, he was going over, oh, match of the night, like, everything, and I get, you know, that he's being fed the lines, but I gotta be honest, you know, like, settle down there, pal. Hey, you know, it's a little too much. We've got Kevin Owens defeating Sami Zayn. You know, we didn't get any progression with the Sami Zayn promo before the match. It ends in a countout. Then Owens drags him back into the ring and stunners him, and that's it. Like, was there any development here between, like we just finished this at Mania. Like, that was the blow-off, right? He stunned Logan Paul. Zayn was beat clean. So we move on. No, we go right back. We got a rematch, and it's like a pointless finish. He gets himself kind of out just to be dragged back into the ring. Like, this is a total waste of time. It's a shitty match. It's a shitty finish. And there's nothing here to be entertained by. Like, seriously, you're watching this. For what reason? For this? We already saw a stunner at Mania that ended a match. Here we're getting a count out, and then he takes him into the ring and he stunners him anyway. Like, another guy. Like, you know, I don't understand this. You're getting rid of Samoa Joe, yet Kevin Owens is still on your show, and you're probably, you know what, in a few months going to put him back in the world title picture? Of course you are. Because this big goof, he's always going to be there. You know, and they're not going to even give him the world title, but they're always just going to do it for some reason, like with a lot of people on here. Then we've got Apollo Crews introducing Commander Aziz. For some reason, this guy is Samoan, and he's playing a Nigerian role. And I said this in the Mania review, like what? He's doing the Samoan spike, like, okay. You know, we've got like a Truth Commission vibe here, but it's not as good. It's not like the Truth Commission was one of the greatest things of all time, but it was better than this. Just like, okay. And the other thing is, I cannot get over like the fact every single time I'm listening to Apollo Crews, I'm thinking of reverse Kofi Kingston. At least with Kofi Kingston, he committed to the bit. He came in there with the Jamaican accent, and then they decided, okay, you know what, we'll just, have him. You could at least, they made it kind of comedic where they just dropped it and then Triple H acknowledged it in a promo. Okay. But, like, you could then say, like, okay, well, he's losing the accent because he's been in America for a while. Here it's just like, well, we're developing accents all of a sudden. You just all of a sudden get in touch with your nationality. You just start speaking in that accent. I mean, that's just wonderful. I mean, like, that's truly extraordinary. Could you just imagine if, like, your nationality, what you descended from, you just all of a sudden start speaking in the corresponding accent? That's how it is in the WWE for some reason. You can just learn talents like that out of the clear blue sky. And I hear people are praising this. Like, I don't, like, again, like, what the fuck are these people watching? That they're saying that this is good, this is great, they're enjoying these promos. The Intercontinental Champ, like, enough already. This is not good. Like, okay, is he doing, like, a good impression? Like, somewhat? It's inconsistent, but whatever the case may be, it's goofballish. Is it even worth to go through all this trouble for Apollo Crews? Is this guy going to even really become anything big? You know that he's not. So I don't understand, like, this is why I don't crowd around this guy and jump on the Apollo Crews bandwagon, because you can see it from a mile away. In like a year from now, you're going to see Apollo Crews in the same position as Samoa Joe and Bo Dallas. He ain't going to be there. I'm telling you. You'll see him, pretty soon Apollo Crews is going to be all elite. Oh my God. The Street Profits introducing Bianca Belair. And we've got the cheesiest, lamest, most scripted, I'm the EST, but you could be the BEST. Holy fucking shit. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I rolled my eyes so hard in this fucking promo that I almost injured my brain. I think I might have already. Like, this promo. We wear gold in this household, baby, so you better focus on the tag time. Like, if anyone is actually liking this, and there are people, I gotta implore you to go look at the YouTube comments. People think that this is good. People exist. People live that actually say that this is good stuff. And it's the lamest, worst stuff I think I've ever seen. I mean, this is not inspirational. This is horrible. I mean, she's boring. There's a little bit of sass, but she's boring. There's nothing here. She's not good at promos. She's not even, at least you can see with certain people that they try to make the material work, like with Sami Zayn, like they've given garbage material, but you can see that there's genius behind it. No, there's nothing here. You've got a girl with some impressive strength, but she's not a great wrestler. She's not good at promos. I don't know what anyone really sees in Bianca Belair. The match at Mania was not good. I didn't think it was good. If you think it's good, congratulations. Enjoy that match. Watch it on repeat 20 times. I don't fucking care, but I did not enjoy it. And it was the reason why I said night 2 was so much better. Because that match wasn't on night 2. You actually had a good main event on that show. So, this is just a lot of nonsense and goofballery. So we get this just leads into a match. We've got the Dirty Dogs defeating the Street Goofs. And, the Dirty Dogs, like, they're just got to be the worst tag team I've ever seen. You've got two talented guys just being wasted in a team that not only has the worst name of all time, like the Dirty Dogs, like for a team that's established. Could you imagine this? Like you've got Dolph Ziggler, a former world champion, I know they don't like to play that part up too much. But, Bobby Roode, you've got these two established names, and you're just going to put them in the most worthless team ever. And, this was a boring match. We've got people saying, oh, they were robbed. This should have been on Mania. Thank God it wasn't, because this was just, the same thing. Angelo Dawkins with the sloppy bulldog, and just, this guy, first of all, he looks like shit. Get this guy in shape. Montez Ford just looks like Beaker. Like, honestly, the shape of everything on his body and everything. Oh, he just looks like a big goof. So many goofs on this show. So many clowns on this show. So many clowns writing this show. Montez Ford, yeah, he looks like Beaker from the Muppets. Just seriously, the guy just looks like a Muppet. He looks like a goofball with the dumbest facial expressions. He looks like a total moron out there. He sounds like a moron. He is a moron. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, how anyone thinks that this tag team is entertaining. They're just loud, obnoxious. It's just terrible. Terrible to watch these guys. Natalya defeated Shayna Baszler with a lame-ass roll-up. Okay. Then we get our main event. It's Cesaro defeating Jey Uso by DQ, and Seth Rollins runs in, gives him a clothesline or something from behind, and then he gives him the weakest love tap in the back of the head. And Cesaro is reeling from the weakest looking shot I've ever seen. And we end the show with Cesaro. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. My ears. So wait a minute. So we kind of started the Cesaro Roman Reigns feud, but sidebar, we're going into the Seth Rollins Cesaro rematch. And a word, if I may, throughout the show, they had that lame spot, which they're calling the UFO. This spot that made absolute no sense at all. And I don't care what anyone says, this looked like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life coming out of wrestling. Cesaro, powerful guy. We've seen him do amazing things, lifting up Great Khali and suplexing him. We've seen at Mania 30, picking up the Big Show, walking in the ring, body slamming him right over the top rope. Crazy strength. The guy is a monster when it comes to that. I said it's probably his only feature that makes the guy interesting. Everything else is boring as hell. But we're not even playing that part up with him. We're not doing the strong man gimmick. Instead, it's the swing guy. And now he's the most incredible move of all time, the UFO. The UFO, this move where he picked up Seth Rollins on his shoulders. No hands or anything. He does a little bit of hands here, but then he puts his hands on his hips and starts spinning around as Seth Rollins is holding on for dear life. And we're told that this is impressive because he's doing a move that just defies all physics and logic or anything. Try doing that in real life. And the thing is, you're featuring it prominently. You're telling people, look at this move, look how amazing it is. And you think back in your mind of amazing moments and spots that you've seen. All those incredible spots and moves, didn't they somewhat, in some way, weren't they realistic? You didn't really have to think too hard about them. Because, they were okay, these are acceptable, even in the world of wrestling. I don't have to really suspend my disbelief that far, but we've got Cesaro spinning around with a 200-plus guy on his shoulders with no hands, basically supporting himself, just with his arm draped around his throat. Are we honestly sitting here saying that this was an impressive move worthy of praise? Are you honestly going to sit there and tell me you were impressed by that? If you are, you're a total mark, you're a goof. I mean, honestly, this was a terrible follow-up to WrestleMania. I mean, how do you not have Edge or Daniel Bryan on your show? How do you not even on Raw have anything like even remotely related to what happened at Mania with The Fiend? I mean, do they care anymore? Of course they don't. They've got billions of dollars. I've never seen a company so dead that it's basically, you know what it is when people say WWE is dead? It's more that they're dead inside. It's all about the money. It's not about really ratings anymore, because for some reason you got Peacock willing to pay $1 billion for a network that, you know, it's got some good footage on there, but that's archival footage. You've got total nonsense like this being aired. And this is how the company is valued. This company is not even worth $10, and they're paying $1 billion for it. Congratulations to Vince. He's an expert businessman. You know, people saying that Tony Khan is a great businessman, they don't seem to understand the most basic concept of economics. I'm not an economic genius at all. I don't even understand the stock market. But you just know that when someone makes $1 billion deal when their content totally sucks, meanwhile Tony Khan's blowing money, like, you know, like it's made out of oxygen. It's like everywhere to him. Money, could just get it from his dad and all that. You know, an endless supply of dough. And, you know, he's blowing it on just nonsense. So, you know, people saying that Tony Khan is a genius, I don't know what they're smoking. Anyway, this show, Smackdown, fucking awful. Terrible stuff. So, yeah, guys, I'm done with SmackDown for right now. We are going on a hiatus on the SmackDown reviews, okay? So, you know, bear with me on that. Enjoy the other content that's coming on this channel, and even the content that I've already done. Go watch it. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that you have not seen on here. And trust me, I'm way more proud of the content that is non-wrestling on here. I put more thought into it, I think, you know, and I think you'll enjoy it if you give it a chance. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And guys, I'll see you next time.